Okay guys, welcome back to this Porsche engine teardown. And as many of you guys know, we're dealing with the infamous bore score, so we're tearing this down to be able to rebuild it. In today's video, we're going to be removing the front console, the water pump, the tandem pump, and possibly the scavenger pump as well. And on the next video, you'll be seeing me take off the gearbox. As many of you guys know, this is the Teardown. We will be removing that, and I'll be showing you how to remove that, because I know there's many of you who keep questioning how to remove that because you really want to see that. That's probably the most wanted thing on these cars, how to remove that gearbox, because nobody shows how to remove them, and the adapter plate as well. So I'll be showing you how to do that. Obviously, we're not going to be removing the pulley because we need that to be able to turn over the engine, to be able to make the chains move to where we want them, to slacken them, to take out all the camshafts and everything when we remove the heads. So we won't be taking that off just yet. That will come off at the end once the heads are fully off. So that's the only part that's going to stay on. But we are going to be removing all of this today. Okay guys, so what we're going to go ahead and do is remove all these Torx 30s all around the center console. We're not going to remove these 10 mils here. These 10 mils are for the actual oil pump gears that are inside there. I'll show you about that when we actually tear the engine down, but we're not going to be doing that just yet. We'll do that on the bench. We're going to go ahead and remove all these Torx 30s on here. So you can see here, we're going to take off this. Now this is for the actual belt to slide through. As you can see, they're just all torqued up still. This has never been removed. So we'll go ahead and take that off. Very, very easy. Again, keep your bolts with you. Keep them separate so you know where they all go, because again, these are all Torx 30s. You can easily mix them up, because as you can see, these are what they use as well for the tandem pump and for the scavenger pump. Everything on them is Torx 30s on this engine. Now, as I said to you, I do like to keep all the bolts with everything, so we'll just take these loose as well. Here and here. Clear there, they're all squeaking. We're going to remove this with the coolant hose. They do tell you it's common practice to replace these. We'll probably replace this little neck here, which is where the coolant flows into, to go into the oil pump, to go back into the block. So we will probably replace them when we put the engine back together, sorry, because it just makes sense to do it. So we'll do that. And now this should actually wobble off just like that. Now that's off of the coolant hose. You see coolant's coming out of there. Make sure there's no gasket there, which there isn't. Porsche usually use Loctite to secure these down from the factory, so they don't put no gasket in between, but it does come with gaskets to put on when you put it back together. Now a top tip here is to make sure you keep all the old parts, so you've got all the part numbers, so you can order what you need to order, because one thing is here guys, is you can end up getting the wrong part sent to you. So have the part number and look up the part number for everything, especially the coolant hoses, because there's so many of them. It makes sense to keep all the parts, so you can, or put the part number down in your phone for everything you're going to replace, and just mark it as what it is. As you can see, I'm now removing all the Torx 30s from here. There's one more here as well, and then we've got a few down the bottom there we need to remove, which we'll go ahead and remove in a sec. Just take all these ones out. They're all Torx 30s, as you'll see. Now you can't get them mixed up, because I'll show you now, these ones here are longer. So you'll see here, these ones are a lot longer than the short ones. And we then got another one right down here. And you can see, it's another long one. And we've got another one right down here in the corner, which is a smaller one. Now, I believe there's another one that holds this on. Just got to look for it, which is right down here at the bottom. And there's the other one right there, another small one. So what you do is you just go around and make sure every Torx spot is removed from the actual oil pump itself. What we're going to go ahead and do now is crack these 10 mils loose. This is for the water pump. Now, I did leave all this to soak in WD-40, because what I didn't want is bolts to break. So I left it all to soak, so in that way, I don't have to worry about dealing with broken bolts. And as you can see, that's now all the bolts now released. You don't have to worry about keeping these bolts, because they do give you new bolts with the water pump. But if you want to keep them, you obviously can, in case yours don't. But when I ordered mine, it come with new bolts. I'm going to take that one out as well. and that one out. And then we'll take the bottom one out, just like that. Now that's the water pump ready to come off. Now we'll probably end up with a lot of coolant coming out of this. So I have to be prepared for that. So what I've done is I've just put a bucket just directly underneath the water pump in case a lot of coolant comes out, because I can hear a lot of coolant in the pipe. So as you see there is coolant coming out of it. So now that's released, we'll just take up this. We need to disconnect the hose right here on the corner. We're gonna have to take that off. We're gonna have to, it's a pinch clamp. We're gonna have to take it off here because obviously we can't get this whole hose off because all of this is going in the bin. This whole hose, called rubber hose, which I'll show you when we get it off, is completely going in the bin. So what we wanna do is I just wanna try and get in here to be able to pinch the hoses, to be able to move it over here, and then we can take it off. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just gonna prise it off here. This goes to the transmission. These coolant hoses, so all these hoses go to the transmission. So once that's out, that's the whole water pump and the hose completely out. And if you can see here, this water pump is very, very old and battered. So it is a good thing we are gonna be replacing it. This is all going in the bin along with that old hose that's all like broken and just all completely corroded and destroyed. So we can order a new hose for this with the water pump. So what you're gonna wanna do is remove these Torx 30 bolts up here, because you wanna remove this flange. Now, they ain't very easy to access because of the way they're positioned on the block, but you can get to them. You do need to take them out. They're Torx 30s because they hold on this hose right here to this little flange, and obviously this is connected to the whole front console. The hose on here, usually you can just leave it to hang and take out everything, but and then take it off with the transmission cooler lines, which is connected to the transmission cooler lines anyway. Again, Torx 30s, as I told you, everything's Torx 30s on here. You can see here, there's another one out. We'll get the other two out, which is around the back here. Now what I'm gonna do is use my little ratchet and remove this other Torx 30 because it's a bit hard. Just like that, it's now released. You can see the front console moving about, ready to drop, and there will be coolant that will come out of here as well. Put a hand under it so I can remove it. Obviously, where it's on the hydraulic table, it's not so easy to remove certain things as it would be out the way, but we can't lift the engine up. So we'll just remove it out of here, this Torx 30, just like that. And then that's the piece that you need to remove. You can see there's no gasket on it as well. So now we're gonna have to take out that one bolt here. We'll just crack that loose. As you can hear, that's all the torque. That's been when it was torqued up. We'll take that bolt out. And there you go, that's the other last bolt. So we'll just put a pry bar behind and tap it out. Just like that. It's now coming. And there is the front console covered in crap. It's now off, and this key has been left in there. Do not lose that, because that's what drives the oil pump. Then we've got all the gaskets here that we need to take off. You can see there, quite a few, but they're all corroded as well. I mean, look at that, deteriorated. So that would have been leaking, no doubt. And then you've got that one. They're just all corroded, they need new gaskets on. Now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna remove the thermostat, which I'll show you how to remove it. So you can basically see just here, this is the thermostat, and you can see all these bolts here. This is for the transmission coolant hoses. We're gonna have to unbolt it from here because obviously we won't be able to get to the thermostat because this sits in the way of the bolt. So we're just gonna take out the bolts here. There's two of them, there's one here and one on this side, which if you can see, they're located, both of them are here. So they're only small. So we'll go ahead and remove them, then we can remove the thermostat. They're not on tight, these ones. These ones don't usually break, because they're only tiny anyway. So these are usually quite good at being okay. As you can see, that's the transmission cooling pipe out the way. But we need to get it fully out the way because as you can see, it's in the way of the hose. So what we'll just do is we'll just bend this hose out the way and down so we can then take that out. So now you should be able to see the thermostat, which I'm going to remove. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead and remove all the bolts for the thermostat. Just like that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we've got that loosened, we can now just take the bolts out of the thermostat. We'll see how bad this thermostat is as well. I don't think it's already been upgraded to a low temp thermostat, but who knows? Who knows? Highly doubt it though, because people just don't do it because they know these are all going to need rebuilding, and they do it then. I'll just take that one out. So there's only 4 bolts. Now what should happen is the thermostat should come away, just like that. And straight away I can see this hasn't been upgraded to a low temp thermostat. So, like I showed, this hasn't been upgraded. This is the old one. So therefore, this is going to be going in the bin as well along with the hose. Because as I said, it's best practice to replace all the hoses. There's no way you can put these back on. So what I'll do is I'll take off all the locking clamps to reuse them on the other new thermostat and new hose when we get them. But I will throw away the hose and the thermostat. So what we're going to go ahead and do as well is just remove this bracket, because this bracket needs to come out. This is what holds the coolant hose for the water pump and the thermostat onto the block. So we'll just take that out. These bolts are usually pretty good. It's these that usually break because of the plastic. They usually break as soon as they come out. You might have to buy another one. I'm gonna try and get it out. Oh, look at that. It come out of that break-in. Usually they break the little tabs on here and you can't reuse them, but this one has been saved. So I suppose that saves you having to buy a new one. So for the tandem pump, it's very, very easy. It's just 4 Torx 30s again. And this has been replaced at some point because usually these are heavily corroded. So I think someone's took the option to replace this, which is a good thing because it means it ain't heavily corroded, which means nobody has to worry about it going out or causing a leak or anything like that. So it's a good thing. So we'll keep these bolts separate because these are a lot longer, and we'll put them with the tandem pump when we remove it. Let's remove this other Torx 30. We'll just remove this one, which is down the bottom. So now that's been removed. Now the tandem pump should rock to come out, which it is. And there it comes out. And yes, this has been replaced because this has got quite a new O-ring. So yeah, this one has been replaced, so that's all good. And as you can see there, it's in actually good condition, which means it has been replaced, as I said. So as you can see there, you can now see the exhaust sprocket. So that's where we're going to be going to once we remove the valve covers. You'll see all that when we start stripping off the valve covers correctly and how to remove all that. So there you have it, guys. That is the front end of this Porsche 997 engine stripped down. Most of it is already stripped down now. The rest of it is going to be coming off with the gearbox. So all these transmission coolant pipes, they will all come off along with the gearbox and go with the gearbox. Once we've done that, once that's off, we can then attach our engine stand piece, lift it up with the engine crane and hoist it onto the engine stand to start tearing down all the valve covers and getting the heads off. But as you've seen, guys, everything has now been detached from the actual engine itself. And literally we haven't got much left to do. You've seen how easy it is to tear it all down. There isn't much involved. Like I said, there's just a lot of bolts and you guys have to remember where they all go because it can get very difficult to remember where everything goes. That's why I keep it with the component. If you don't want to throw them into a pot because you're not sure where they go, just put them in a pot and leave them there. And then that way you'll be able to just bolt it all back up, knowing that where they've already in their location of what you've removed to go back onto the engine itself. So thank you very much for watching, guys. It is BMW Dr. Dean here, and goodbye.